Hello and welcome to In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. Who am I? James Lott Jr., the leader of JLJ Media, because I'm the JLJ of JLJ Media. Of course, I love bringing you shows that are out there, people who are taking chances, and everybody says, I can't do it, I can't do it. Well, people find ways to do it, and they did on their iPhones. What it's called Pandemic Pillow Talk. It's out today on YouTube on their channel. We'll talk about all that and where you can actually find it and all that goodness. We're going to talk to people who are behind this whole project. One of them is the creator, writer, lead actress. Help me welcome Summer Moore. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, the poster behind her. I love it. And one of the producers behind this thing. You always need a good producer. You might not seriously, it's always behind everything, a good producer. Help me welcome Starr Session. Starr Session.
That's right.
I love your names. Both your names, I just love them. I said it behind the camera. I love your names.
Thank you. Thank you. We love yours too.
James Lott Jr. Name person. Yes. Like Mary Tyler Moore. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, ladies, welcome. What's funny to me is people say things like, well, I can't do that. But you guys found a way by using technology, this very technology, like we're here on Zoom, you found a way to make a 9-episode web series. Oh. So whoever wants to go first, talk about the concept of the filming of, before we even get to the concept of what the show is, the concept of choosing to do it through iPhone.
Sure, I'll start. When it comes down to creating something during December 2020 of a pandemic where you're literally trapped in your house, take yourself back, right? Now, how are you going to create something with a cast, with a crew, and how do you figure out how to do that while dropping off equipment at actors' doors and saying, we'll walk you through it through Zoom. So we, one of the other producers, as well as Summer, we literally had to do a trial test. We had to try this iPhone, iPads, this app, there's playback when you talk through the Zoom. Now there's bad feed, so you need earpieces. We literally had to workshop and figure out how to create this show using like technology, because technology doesn't always work when you want it to. And so we really took like days and weeks to figure it out. And every time we did an episode, we got even better at it. And, we were able to like, ooh, this actually makes it work better. So it was really cool that we got to use technology, iPhones, iPads, an app called Filmic Pro, where the directors were through Zoom, but they were filming through this cool app called Filmic Pro, where we could see if the lighting was good and if they were able, because we had our crew teach them how to do the lighting, how to do the sound, everything that a crew needs to do when you just show up on set and just go, well, I'm the actor, what do I do now? No, they had to do everything. So it was really cool being able to put all this together.
I started audio dramas during the pandemic because all the studios are shut down and all the actors were sitting at home. We were like, how can we do this? And I watched a Zoom play. And I was like, a Zoom play? Mm-hmm. And there were some glitches and stuff. We're talking April of 2020. When we really were stuck in the house, especially. And everybody was at home. And so myself, my producers were like, because Zoom gives you audio also, I wonder if we could just record through Zoom like we're in person together, but yet I extract the audio and then add the bells and whistles later. So like you, we tried Skype, didn't work. We tried this, did some StreamYards. We had to do the same like you, but you all have plenty of time, right? Figure it out. I'll have plenty of time to figure it out. So it's funny, it's the same here. I have audio dramas that are done through Zoom. It just one of these weird, take the existing technology that wasn't made for it, but right. You made it. So that's why I sound impressed with you guys, because I think that's such an inventive idea. But I didn't realize you had to go to actually teach the actors how to be their own, basically, setup and crew to do this. And so I
it was all happening. We would have like call times and quiet on set, but this was all through Zoom, so it was really cool. But Summer can tell you how hard it was. While it was cool, it was a long day of you bump the camera. We've got to do another test. So she can speak a little bit more to
Summer, tell me.
Well, I'll say from the initial, I wrote it with the idea of what kind of concept can we come up with that we could be in an enclosed area. And initially I had thought we were just going to use webcams. And so we all thought that's how we were going to do it. And then it progressed into, okay, now we need to, and we're going to do it through Zoom. And then we just kept trying, okay, we want better quality. So now we're going to have to shoot. Okay, so maybe we could just have 2 cameras there. Oh, wait, now we got to have and it just kept going. Wait, how are we going to get the audio? Because you can't get it into that camera. You're going to have a wire that's going up to your monitor, and some of the actors move around. So it just kept going into how do we keep tweaking this and make it better so it's better quality. From this acting side of it, it was hard. It was very much there's some big studios that were doing this kind of thing, but they would have the crew come set up and then they just sit outside in the van if they needed help. And ours was literally here's your gear and then go to it. And so I, of course, I'm in every episode, so I'd gotten it down, but I have pictures of what my apartment looked like, and it was an obstacle course. And then you've got the crew that's sitting there on Zoom, can you see if you're going to get it? You got shadows on the side of your face. Can you get up? And then it's oh my gosh. So now I'm climbing over mountains to go move a light. And there's no one there to see, a no stand-in. So I can't see. So I'm moving a light, have to come back, sit back down. No, that didn't work. Can you go back? And you just keep doing all that. So you, as the actor, you're doing all your set design, you're doing your wardrobe, hair, makeup, you're doing sound, which that was a whole thing to be able to figure out how to put a microphone, the sound dudes, I just stand there and they just shove it up my shirt and I'm great, and I get a little fun there too. Yeah, but now I had to do it myself and it was oh no, you got to move. And it was really hard. And then the camera, you have to work the camera. And I had 2 cameras simultaneously. So I'd have to do 2 different cameras. Plus I'd also have my, other phone, so that's recording my audio. So I had 3 phones, 1 tablet, 1 webcam, and it was a lot. Is all I'm saying. You were sweating, and then they're okay, are you ready? And you're no, I have to go do makeup again because I'm
It's so folks say I don't know what to do. Folks figured it out. These folks figured it out. If they can do it, I don't want to hear nothing out of nobody's mouth.
Yeah,
trust me, I don't want to hear nothing.
But the beauty of it is when you watch it, you don't know any of that's happening because it's movie magic, Hollywood magic. So.
Well, my thing is, I was going to say this to Summer. So then the acting part must have been the easiest because everything else was crazy. They're well, I can learn my lines. I can do that. But the rest of it was where you were sweating.
Yeah, it was crazy from the standpoint of you really appreciate being on a set, that you don't have to hear all these we need to do and so his mic's not working. We're having problems. We're having technical problems. Why don't you work with Summer now? And you're listening to all this, which takes you out of your character. So you can't really be in your zone. And then they're okay, ready? And you're whoa, I need to get into a space. A lot of people think actors and their trailers and they're just prima donnas and whatnot. And they don't really appreciate that you have to be in that character and get in that space in a moment, that it's not just I just turn it on. Usually you got to get into, I'm Mackenzie and I'm in marketing and I'm having a hard time with whatever my last date was and whatever kind of thing. So from that standpoint, it was I did enjoy the acting, but there was a lot of oh, great, you're light, wait, the daylight's shifted. Now you got to get up, stop, and you're not just, once you're acting, it's still, you're playing crew member.
Well, I would say that makes us appreciate the crew more, folks. Yeah. I said producers, I trust me, I miss being on set sometimes because I do all the stuff myself that I'm pressing all the buttons and I do a lot of things. And it's no, they have important jobs. They really do have important jobs. And so when the pandemic hit, they were hit hard. We don't understand this. Let me tell everybody what they know. So here's the deal. Come closer. The deal is when there was no studio action happening, there were so many things, especially in Los Angeles, that shut down because of it. That's catering, that's food, that's laundry, that's cleaners, that's all the crew who did not work because there was no stage work either. So you couldn't do stage. And it really did trickle down. So I appreciate them. I've always appreciated them, but I appreciate them even more. And here you guys this, it's that's the point. It's there are people who have jobs for a reason when it comes to productions, but producer especially. So Starr, how did you navigate being a producer of such a very unique project?
Well, piggybacking on what you're saying is our crew was very appreciative of the fact that they got to work, and they got to use their skills, and they got to show off that it isn't just sliding a mic up the shirt. No, there's a ruffle in the shirt, or you can see it, or, there's just a lot that goes to it. And so they were very appreciative. We loved our crew. What we loved even more is that we were having a diverse team. We had diverse directors. We had most of our crew were women. We had a couple men in there too that we absolutely love. But we had like a strong team of a lot of women making powerful decisions. And as a producer, it was great to see, especially during the pandemic, right after Black Lives Matter, right after all these, like the world is shutting down, and we still have these great women and a great team to help put together a cool story that everyone can relate to. If you haven't done online dating, you've dated before, and you know what it looks like to go have a bad date or be excited about a good date that goes bad, or a bad date that turns good. So I feel like everyone can relate to this. And it was really cool just being able to say, all right, quiet on set. And I was saying it through Zoom. So it was really fun to put myself there. Yeah.
How did you guys?
And James, I should say Starr was not in Los Angeles during this. So, and some of the actors weren't either. So we had actors like in New York, South Carolina, whatnot. And Starr was actually in Hungary producing, which was like very nice. Her and I tag team as producers. And so when I could go on set and be just actress, and then Starr's handling it, there was times I was getting a little bit like, I'm worried about time. And it's like, just shut up, Summer, you're supposed to be acting. Like, it was wonderful. But she
well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, like, I got the time, we'll make up the time, we're gonna make lunch, don't worry. We were treating it like a true set. And
I get that. Yeah, same here. My shows were the same here. We treated it like a true set. It was true. You were producing. I said you were producing. You guys were producing a series. How did you guys meet? How do you guys know each other? What's going on there? Get these names and everything. How do you guys know each other?
Summer?
I was an apartment manager, and she moved into my building, and we became very good friends. And we actually produced our first short together on like a whim that I'd written. And she was like, hey, do you have something you'd written? Let's make this. And we were like, sure. And we had no idea that this was going to like turn into our career. I don't think, right, Starr?
I mean, in LA, everyone does something.
Right,
like,
exactly,
I'm a producer. Right. I'm a producer. And it's like, well, are you?
Exactly.
And so it was really cool to like move into this apartment building. This show was about online dating, and I had just broke up with the guy. And actually, Summer saw me go through all the bad and the uglies of the online dating. And so sometimes we would create some fun stuff, and then other times I would just cry on her couch about a bad online date.
Yeah.
Or I would come to her after one online date and say, I'm going to marry this guy, which is a true story, where I went on one date with this one guy, and now I'm married to him. We're going to have 2 kids together.
Yeah. She went on 2 dates in one day with the dude. That's what happened. She came back and was like, we're going on another one tonight. And we were like, what? Like,
it was like, he's my boyfriend. She was
it
was
a little crazy. Okay.
What? Oh my goodness. Wow. I was scared of that.
A little tie in there.
Yes. No, wait. So please tell people out there, because I love proving this wrong. Women can work together, can't they?
Oh, totally. I think
I hate that people say, can women work together? I didn't get, I'm like, well, some men don't work together either really well. But I don't know what that means. Like, what does that mean? But I just wanted to dispel that myth. Women obviously can clearly work together.
Yeah. They can clearly. So I also have a women's film festival, and I really like analyze this because I would get a lot of feedback on, well, women don't support women. Like, why should we support you? And I'm like, you're right. I mean, I get it. Like, women can be very catty, judgmental. And I really analyzed, in my opinion, what I think the problem is that women are really, it's a man's world. And we're born into a man's world, and we're always feeling like we have to compete. There's one little slot for us. So we're all against each other. I mean, this isn't stereotypical, right? And so you're vying for that one little spot. So once we get to a world where everybody feels like we're equal, I don't think women would be doing that as much because it's really sad. It's like we should all be empowering each other instead of like, nah. So Starr and I work really well together. I think we complement each other on various things. I'm very anal and she loves that. And
Do I?
It's like he loves that.
you said it to me before. You've been like, I really love, I just that you can
I do.
detail oriented or whatever kind of thing. But, you know, I'm sure we like irk each other on some things.
Sure, yeah.
She's like, nah. No, I mean, there's some things, yes, it can be challenging. And I think if you could, I can't say I could work with every woman.
Right.
I mean, just like every man, you can't. So it just depends, right?
Well, no, you said something that's it's very true. It's also about Black folks too. It's about any marginalized group in Hollywood. We all can work together, get the right partners. You can work together, and you have checks and balances, and this making on my nerves, whatever. But we're all looking at that one slot. It's like screw that one slot. That's the whole point. And you doing this series is like saying that. And so I'm like, I'm not going to wait for somebody to give me a series, or somebody to write something for me, or I'm going to try to find something. Hopefully, that one woman will pick me. The lineup. Like, no. We don't do it myself. We're going to do it. And I think we need to get over that crabs in a barrel or monkeys in a barrel. I don't know, something's in the barrel. I'm mixing metaphors or whatever. But something's in a barrel and we're topping all over each other. But it's like, let's just say there's a million slots. Let's make the slots happen. That's why I love it. I love it. So I just want to make sure I say that. I'm tired of people telling me, I don't know, they can work together. These two women work. Oh my goodness. They didn't kill each other. I'm like, no, they didn't. I know two guys.
That's why we had a few different we had like a ton of directors because there's so many episodes. Like, let's give everybody a chance, So each director was able to hone in on their skills and their crafts, focus on their episode, and bring like the funny to the big screen, the YouTube screen, which each episode has its own like ebb and flow. And it's really cool to see everyone's perspective on, because I'm like, oh, I read it a little differently. And Summer's like, oh, I wrote it feeling it a little differently. And then them being able to direct her and direct the guys and pull something different out and we just create. And that's what I love, is like taking it from the pages and creating something really cool and different. And so I love that we had a ton of women on set that could make it happen.
Yeah, that was really important for us because we could have just had one director.
Yeah.
And it was like, we want to give opportunities to as many women as we can. So
I love it. Summer, for you, I always tell people I'm not married to my scripts. I'm engaged to them. I'm a little open to certain, because sometimes actors bring things just like, wow, don't do that. I wrote it this way. But usually for me, I have a point A and point B I want to get to. Sometimes maybe getting to point B is this way, and that's fine. As long as it conveys kind of what I need to convey, I'll be able to. So for you, how much of letting go do you give up to your director, producer, other actors, Miss Summer?
Yeah, I always feel very much like I want a director to come in and give their input and make a script better. I always feel like the team, the producer, everybody can come on and let's make this as good as possible, because I never feel like I know I'm not the best. I know that I need help. And the more creativity we can come together and make it the better. I also really wanted improv. So it was very important that we got actors on here that could improv so that we can add stuff in there, ad lib, have a good time. And then even post-production, the editors will come in and they're storytellers. And they're like, I'm kind of feeling like maybe we could chop this out and da-da-da. So all of these episodes are not necessarily the full-on thing I wrote. Like one of the episodes got chopped down and she was like, I don't want to do this if you're not going to be fine with it. And I said, no, do it. And so I think it works. It wasn't like completely what I had written on the page, but it works. So why not? It's shorter and, so I'm all about the better we can make it. Of course, there's some things you do get tied on. Like this is very important. Like one of the guys that Mackenzie goes out with is from Boston. And I remember there was a discussion of, well, do we really need this Boston stuff in there? And I had, yes, it's important because ABC did. So we kept it in there when we could have just cut it out. So there's some things that you do kind of go, it's important. And, right. I really feel.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Okay, now it's time tell people what this show's about. I have questions related to that. So what I saw the trailer, it's out there. I was laughing already. So tell us what this show, this 9-episode series is about.
Go for it, Summer. You wrote it. Tell them. Tell the world.
Tell the world, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Why should they tune in? What's going on?
Well, the tagline is online dating worse than the pandemic or scarier than the pandemic. So actually Pandemic Pillow Talk is a spinoff from a short film I did called As in Kevin, which was about online dating in the real world. And this character, Mackenzie, goes on an online date and she's tired of that and da 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 da. So now fast forward to Pandemic Pillow Talk, Mackenzie comes into the pandemic and now she's doing online dating during the pandemic. So this whole series takes place during the pandemic, where people are having to do Zoom dates instead of meeting in person because there's no vaccine and, the virus and whatnot. So finding a way to make those all interesting, that the dates are quirky and that people are engaging because we're not running around Los Angeles with all these amazing sets, overall, the episodes are pretty short. They range between 5 to 8 minutes for most of them. And so they're just quick and, it's about her trying a lot of frogs to get to a prince.
The casting process. I see you have Eric Roberts in there. That's one person, the casting. But casting. So what was that? So what was that like during the pandemic? I probably was easy. Probably people were just like, yes, I want to do something. But I mean, how was the casting process? Summer. Sorry, Starr. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So the casting process was fun and interesting. People were trapped at home, like, sure, I'll do a casting. I'll do a self-tape. Like, you're gonna let me create and work? Sure. Some of them were really bad. Some of them were really good. That we couldn't figure out who to choose.
Oh, wow.
But the most interesting part was there was a few scenes that Summer had wrote where people had to be, this was back during your pod days, you quarantine in a pod. And we had to find 2 actors or that lived together who could also both act. And so this was the challenge where we were like, why did you write this? Because now we've got to find 2 good actors that live together.
Wow.
One of them being the mom and the dad. And
right.
To our surprise, we had a submission with Eric Roberts and his wife, Eliza Roberts. And we were like, no way they're going to do this. They submitted a tape. We were like, okay, now of course we want to choose them.
Yeah, of course.
And we were like, no way they're going to accept this. And then they were like, we'll do it. And so we were super excited to have them on set. It was really cool to have a little bit of a little celebrity working with the celebrity on set. We had great actors and talents that have, great resumes too. But of course, Eric Roberts is top notch.
Yeah. Can I tell a funny story real quick? Can I interject?
Please.
When we were doing like the house tour and Eliza's walking us around trying to find a place for us to be able to film in her house. And we were talking about putting pictures of me with them as they're my parents on the mantle. And then they go by this photo of Emma Roberts on the cover of People as a baby. And I can't remember if her mom's on it or Eric's holding her or whatever kind of thing. And Eliza's like, well, we could make this Mackenzie is the baby. And we were like, I don't think Mackenzie is going to be on the cover of People. So,
wow,
sorry.
I love it.
Go ahead, Starr.
It's so Hollywood. It's so Hollywood.
Yeah.
We just make this, sure. Like, that's not really in the storyline.
But they were so warm and welcoming and like totally like on board with what we were doing. They thought it was the coolest thing. They said it many times. Eric was like, girls, like, this is so cool how you guys figured this out, like never done anything like this. And so we appreciated those compliments because we want to work in, we want to make sure our set is run like a true set. And we believe in like A-list, high class. I don't know the word, but like we want to work at a top notch at all times, even if it's through Zoom. And so we were really excited to have like those compliments come in, that everything was just done really professional. That's the word. Boom.
I'm sure for him, everybody at his age who's done it all, this was something new and exciting. It sounds new and exciting. Like, why not? He's probably thinking at this time in my career to get something offered like this, that's a gift. You know, I mean, that's a gift. You know, we're sitting here, you're trying to make a show, but for him, it's probably like, this is really very interesting for me. It's an interesting experience, something still new for him. That's, I mean, how many times can you do anything new? I mean, I'm an old man. I know how it is. So I can do experiences. It's not always that easy. You're like, I've done it all already. So I'm sure for him it was a gift, and to work with his wife, I mean, so it's a wonderful experience. I'm sure.
Yeah, they were very cute on set together. He just adores her, and we've got him in 2 different rooms, and then you'd hear him just saying stuff like, "Isn't she beautiful? I love her." And we're like, "Oh my gosh, you know, like, yeah,
I mean, this whole concept, I love this. I just think that, you know, you have 9 episodes of this show. It's a comedy. It's based on life. I did a couple of Zoom dates during the pandemic.
Oh, really?
So here's the thing. I'll share, because this show's about, and my fans know I talk about my life. I did one. So there was one I did where actually he sent me an Uber Eats gift card and said, "Now I'm buying you dinner."
Oh,
I know.
Cute.
It was so cute. It went nowhere.
It's not okay.
But the point was, that was very romantic. I was like, I'm living in a new time period. So the gift card sent the gift card to me via email. I don't know my address, but via email. And then we ordered our food. We each had wine. And I sat right here, actually. I sat this little thing right here. And I mean, and I thought it was a nice, you know, conversation. And dinner went on for like 2 or 3 hours. Like, this is great. And as things happen, you get ghosted all the time. So anyway, that's what
this is an episode. This is an episode right here. Why didn't we write this?
It is.
We should have consulted with you. This is a good one.
It's just crazy. But I mean, I thought that was so romantic. The whole thing was just like, because we had to figure it out at this point, because we were all on. It was during the lockdown where you actually, LA was locked, and there were no restaurants really open. It was like things were not open. So we're trying to figure out, well, do we make our own food? Like, there was a whole discussion. That part was kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
Like, discuss, okay, what we're gonna do? I'm gonna figure this out. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna wear this outfit from the waist up. You know, so I worry about that. And there's the whole thing. And so I thought that was kind of cute. I thought us be something very interesting for a while. And one thing I did learn about the pandemic dating also was that now a lot of that, we meet up right away. That's done. Which doesn't have, so you don't make bad habits either, decisions. It actually helps you when you're not in person together. And it forced you to actually get to know people a little more. So I thought it was an interesting thing during the pandemic dating thing, but nothing came out of nothing. So, but I did have a few experiences. I can say I had that experience. I'm looking forward to watching your show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be able to relate, and I think a lot of people who watch this are gonna be able to be like, I had something similar happen to me like that, or everyone's gonna be able to relate, and that's what's really cool about this series. And because they're so short, 5 to 9 minutes, you can really just like dive in, watch it. If YouTube isn't your platform where you like to watch shows, like, you can still, put the ringer on, the reminder on our page, and then it'll just come to your inbox, and you can just quickly check it out and and laugh, because it's a comedy and it's not serious. It's just a fun way to remember what life was like back then, but then also like how it still also relates today.
And it relates to our Zoom meetings. Sorry, that like our backgrounds, we're all like our arm disappears, into the background or stuff. So we've got all this stuff that people are still doing, only half wearing underwear on the bottom and whatever. I mean, just various things that were very important. Of how many Zoom calls are we still having problems that they're on mute, and you're like, you're on mute and they're talking and you're like, I can't hear you. Like, why are we still talking? Do you not hear this? Like, so that stuff's worked. So it still applies today. It's not just like, well, back in the day, it's like people all still figure Zoom out. What? Sorry, go ahead.
Back in 2020.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's happening still. You're right. So now after that, I guess I have to watch the series, of course. But I mean, at the end of the season, are we left hanging? Could be a season 2 possibly, or does she actually go on a nice date? And I was curious. We just have to watch the series and find out, don't we?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, the nice thing is we're doing 2 episodes a week, so you don't have to wait. It's like a month of, it's pretty quick, and we'll see. we didn't give it away.
We're never going to give it away, but it's that last episode. I said it the other day or on another interview, like the finale is like dating on steroids. Like it is like the craziest, wildest ride you'll ever be on. And you're going to want to see what happens in the end. So it's something to look forward to, because it's like, I never thought about what if this were to happen, or if I did something like, you're just going to want to watch it. So I just love that last episode, and I can't wait for that last week to air. So we can talk about it, James.
I know.
Really
I think at the end of the season, guys come on the end of the season, but talk about the whole season.
Yeah.
Folks will be watching. I mean, you should be watching. Don't be watching it. I'm very
Thank
curious
you.
what happens. But you guys, to be proud of yourselves. You actually set out to do something, and you did it. A lot of folks in this town have analysis paralysis and talk about things to death and don't do nothing about it. They're afraid. But you guys said, we're going to do this. And we figured out a way. We figured out ways. To me, that's one of the beauty parts of this pandemic, if there is a such thing, is that out of these kind of tragedy and crazy moments, some things get born out of that. And so now you guys have learned some skills. It for a fact now you could put together a show if you had to. Now you don't have to do it so much, do this anymore. Now you can start getting it out there. But if you had to, you could.
Yeah. We hope that we have to put together a show after this in the real world. We hope that we have to do that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm manifesting that for you. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
If you had to, though, you could.
Yeah, right.
So the show is called Pandemic Pillow Talk. It is out now. So, like she said, run to YouTube to their channel, Pandemic Pillow Talk, or like I said, what's the other way you can watch or get it? You said it.
Pandemicpillowtalk.com is our website, and you can learn more about the directors and a little more insight about the episodes and the producing team. But it's all about YouTube and hitting that subscribe button, and then hitting the reminder button, because are you going to remember next week that there's another 2 episodes? Let's be honest. So just hit the button, do it. And we're going to see you each week with 2 episodes. That last week is going to be the finale that we talked about, the episode on steroids. And we can't wait to hear your comments. So don't forget to leave them below.
You'll be seeing my name on there. I'll be leaving comments.
Yay. We love that. Thank you.
And if you like it, hit that thumbs up button.
Thank you.
There are a lot of folks who like stuff. They forget that part.
I know.
Hit the thumbs up, not thumbs down.
Right.
Thumbs up.
Right.
They
forget to
say none.
And share it, please. Like that's what we really need, the word out there to get this out. It's all about word of mouth. We don't have Sony's marketing budget, unfortunately. We can get that.
No, I'm gonna promote it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, folks. Somewhere more in Starr Session. Thanks very much for being on the show. I'm James Lott Jr. As I said earlier in the beginning of the show, you can follow this show anywhere. This show I've had this show out for like 4 years, 190 episodes. It is out there, JLJ Media. It's on. Also, as an audio version. If you don't want to look at us, you can listen to our wonderful voices online. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Do it. Be kind, rewind. Everybody, will see you next time. Support the arts, support indie arts, support indie film, indie shows. There are some folks, yes, there's corporations, all that stuff, but support the folks who are doing it DIY and trying to do it. Support them. We'll see you next time.